Hello YouTube, this is Rockin460 again. I had a couple questions from a few friends about the Lee liquid alox that comes with your lube sizers, the sizing die that you just press the bullet through, and I figured I would kind of show how I do it. I do not cut this lube. Some people actually, it's pretty thick when you get it. Some people actually cut it down a bit with either a little bit of water, hot water, put it in hot water and let it thin, or use some mineral spirits. I don't. I use it kind of sparingly. These are some bullets that I made earlier today. You can see they've got a little bit of a red tint, but not much. I just kind of put a first coating on them before I size them, and I'm going to show you how I do that here in a second. But this is the stuff that comes with it. What I do is I have a little dish here that I put a handful, 2 handfuls of bullets in there, and then I take and I squirt the stuff on top of it, put the lid on there, and then kind of shake it around, get it all mixed up, and it'll coat the bullets. And then I put a few more, squirt a little bit more, and put, you know, just kind of keep going until the dish is full, then dump it out in this pan that I have here. And the wife is nice enough to let me use her hair dryer. And it takes about 10-15 minutes for this to get a hard coating on it where it doesn't stick to your fingers. It's not real tacky. But that's how I lube them before I actually size them. Now what I have out here is my actual sizing die. And I was going to show you how I feed a couple of them through. If I can get the camera set here. I actually feed a couple of these through. And I have here, I'll just take a handful of bullets. Now the die actually comes with, you have your little ram here that fits right in your shell holder. This actually comes with it, and it's just fits in there like a normal shell holder would. You slip him in there, and you've got your die that screws in up here. It's just a normal die, no big deal. Your little cup where you store the dies, it sets in here, and then it also catches the bullets. So I'll go through this here real quick, and then I'll show you how this lube has worked for me. All you do is you put the bullet on top of that ram, bring it up, and it'll size it down to, these are coming down to 356. The Taurus 905 revolver 9mm that I have, it measures out to 355 bore. So does my M&P, so does my Beretta 92 FS that I have. They all measure out to 355, so I can measure them or I can size them to 356. Now some people say you can shoot these without sizing them, and that's fine. If your bore measures out to 358, this is actually a 38 special mold that I use. It's 130 grain. It's made by Lyman. I don't even know if they make it anymore. It's a pretty old mold, but you can kind of see how shiny. It's a little tough to see, but you can see how shiny just the actual grooves right in here are. That's where it swaged the bullet down to 356. Now here's one I haven't sized yet, and you can still see it's pretty dull in comparison. But run him through here, and if you've got a little bit of the sprue left on the bottom of the plate, that's no big deal, or on the bottom of the bullet I should say, that's no big deal. Doesn't take very long to do this, but it really makes the bullets uniform. And when I get done doing this, to get lube back on the grooves, all I do is I throw the bullets back in the little dish there, squirt some more of that liquid alox in there, and just kind of do it again. Now this has a cover here that normally goes just kind of on top. You can kind of see it just fits up here, so if you're doing a lot, they don't all spill out. I just didn't have it on there. But that's how you size them. It's pretty simple. I use it also for my 45 Colt, which I'll show you here in just a second. I figured I'd give you an idea of how this actually protects against your barrel, your fouling of your barrel. Now what I have over here is my Uberti Cattleman. It's a 1873 Cattleman with bird's head grips, which I absolutely love. This gun is just about my favorite gun. It's single action, but I have shot this. It was a week ago. I didn't really clean it. I just ran the bore snake through it, and if anybody is familiar with the bore snake, you'll understand what I mean. It's just a long rope that obviously it's unloaded, otherwise I wouldn't be pointing it at myself. Cylinders out and it's clear. So all it is a pull chain, pull through type deal. It's got 2 brushes in it, and they're 44 and 45 caliber, 9mm, 30 caliber, 358. I mean, they've got them in all sizes. But to give you an idea, I didn't actually run anything through this. What I have here is, hopefully you can see that the bore in this thing is super clean. Now, I fired 80 rounds, I believe, through this using pan lubed bullets, and hopefully I'll be doing a video on pan lubing as well. But you can see how shiny and how clean the bore is. There's no leading in there. There's also very minimal leading in the cylinder as well, which I have here. Now, I have not cleaned this out, so you can kind of see that's just the normal smoke that you get from the end of them. But as for being clean, I mean, it just doesn't get any cleaner than that on the inside. Your throat, of course, here is going to get a lot of lead in it. But either way, the M&P as well. Let me take him apart. I didn't take this one apart before I started the video, so you'll have to bear with me for just a second and hope it doesn't cut off one of my fingers. Okay. What we have here is the barrel out of the M&P, and I did the same thing. Now, semi-automatics tend to hopefully you can see that down inside of there. There is very, very little, if any, fouling in this barrel. There's a kind of a good shot. The flashlight's bright, but very little fouling inside of there. I ran the bore snake through this, and it seemed to do just fine. I haven't had any problems, any feeding problems. It's not gunking up on the ramp. I actually didn't clean the ramp. You can see it's nice and shiny. It's not all gunked up. I didn't really even think about that. I fed the snake through the top side here and just ran it through real quick to kind of take out some of the other normal dirt that you get. So it's working really well. Very, very happy with the liquid alox in that regard. But I guess that's pretty much it. You can kind of see in here, hopefully in this bullet, you can see there's a little bit of white right in here in those grooves. That's my pan lube that I actually made. So here in a little while, and you can see the shiny grooves on this. These are size 2, 452, but it's nice and shiny. It's all sized to the right size, and these are very, very accurate bullets out of that 45 Colt. They're the Lee mold, 255 grain flat nose. So very, very happy with this mold. That was one of them that I was casting with when I had the video on. But either way, I just thought I would throw that out there, and I hope that kind of helps. If anybody has any questions, put it in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. So have a good evening, y'all.